I'm Dave Darin, man. How are you?
Jake Durango.
You're on the Dave Darin Show. You got to clap. Give it a huge excitement here, right?
All right, let's do it.
So stock footage, right?
Correct.
People are going to think you are like a film company.
Do you know the Dave Darin Show?
Not enough to boil a monkey's bum.
Most people say, who the fuck is Dave Darin?
Like Disneyland, I'm the happiest fucking guy on earth.
Who the fuck is Dave Darin?
Who the fuck is Dave Darin?
Are you a puffed up?
He used to be on terrestrial radio, but he got fired.
It's over. Don't you think it's over?
I'll spit.
Who the fuck is Dave Darin?
Here comes the bull spiller now.
Dave Darin.
Like a punk rock jacket, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very punk rock jacket.
I'm gonna put on my punk. I'm gonna sweat in here, but I'm gonna put my punk rock jacket. I look like a punk rocker, right? All right. So when you think of punk rock legends, I think of a little bit. Do you think Flock of Seagulls? Remember them?
Not quite. I remember Flock of Seagulls. They are a little bit before my time, but I'm familiar with Iran. I don't really think of them as punk. I would think of more like the Clash. Would be punk rock legends, the Ramones.
Okay, right, Legends, Ramones. Tell me about some of the music you write, the inspirations for it. Or do you draw from punk from the past, or do you write purely some new punk sound?
I try to go for something new. I try to do more than just like the 3-chord punk, even though I do like those songs, but for me, music is, I like when I hear a song and like, oh, I've never heard something like that before. I don't know if I necessarily accomplished that, but that's what I'm going for, is something that's at least slightly off and not what the audience maybe is expecting.
Cool, okay. So now you're from Chicago.
Yeah, that's right.
Now are you living here in New York City now?
Yeah, I moved to Brooklyn about 1.5 years ago.
So why'd you do that? Did you see a better scene here for your music than in Chicago?
It was more just for personal growth. Like, okay, I'm gonna stretch myself and try to do something new. Then I thought New York was a great city to come and maybe reinvent myself a little bit. This is where all the musicians come to. So I thought if I moved here, I would have a lot better chance of finding the people for my band. Well, I think I finally found the right people. And for me, it's just about finding the people who are excited about the project and are going to commit a little bit to it. So I think I finally found the guys. Actually just started playing with them a couple months ago. Okay. And I cycled through a few people, and they were all awesome people, but weren't quite the right fit for the project. Right now I've got an EP that came out a couple years ago. It's called Nerves and Lead. It's a 4-song EP that I try to cover like all my different interests in music, where the first song is really driving, and then it kind of veers off into slightly more acoustic, melodic things. I'm going to release a new single. It's called Little Hurricane, and it's trying to be in that kind of punk rock tradition of very driving guitars, but also I think there's a few twists in there that maybe people will find interesting.
Play it again. If left the couch
to days. And I wait for you. Is the hours turn to days?
So what makes a right fit? Because obviously you could have a tremendous musician who's extremely talented, but he might be flaky personality.
Right. Yeah, I've had more than a few of those.
So what like if you have this tremendous guy, but he's flaky, do you sort of think, okay, well he's so great, let me try to see if I can convert. It's like a marriage. You try to try to convert me into a better guy, and she's failed relentlessly.
I definitely thought that finding other musicians is like dating.
Yeah.
Like where sometimes you get that first meeting and it's kind of exciting, and then you try to get that second date, and like they're a little distant. They maybe flake out for you, and you wonder, okay, is this person worth pursuing?
Yeah. Yep, it is like a marriage. You have sex with them twice, and then they decide to get rid of you, right? That's typically women with me. Yeah. Although now there's Viagra to solve my problems. You didn't know what this interview was going to be like, right?
Hey, you never know.
As soon as I slid the jacket on, you knew, right?
Yeah, I knew I was in for something.
Cool. And what are we playing now? What's the name of the song?
Follow, which is available on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes Music, Pandora. Basically, wherever you normally listen to your music on your cell phone, you can find it.
Cool.
Chains and
you put an ad in Craigslist. So you got a bunch of people that apply for the bass position, like 5, 6, 7.
Right.
Okay, and then what do you do? You send them your music, and then they kind of work a bass line to it and send it to you back, or how do you figure out who out of the 7 you want to bring in for like the final understanding?
Yeah, so what I do is I have them send me some of their stuff, so I kind of get a feel for what their playing is like, what their sensibilities are. And on the recordings of the EP that I'm going to release, I actually played all the bass lines. So I send them tabs that I wrote out of what I played, so they can get a kind of idea of my style, and I let them know, hey, I'm not married to these. If you want to, I'd like to hear what your personality is, because I love the feeling of when you're playing with a band and everybody is adding something to it, and it's not just all one person's taste, it's a group of guys who are coming together and making something that's more than maybe one individual person in the band.
Okay, and do you eliminate some from that? You probably do, right?
Yeah, there are definitely some people where I listen to their stuff and I was like, I don't think they're gonna like what I'm doing, and I make it very clear that I'm looking for, hey, I like to write a lot of songs, it's what I do, so for this band I am primarily looking for people who are going to help me develop my songs, and not that I'm not interested in bringing other songs into the mix, but it's my project, so I get to be a little bit selfish with that.
Okay.
So I try to feel out, a lot of people, like we were talking about earlier in the teaser, they're a little flaky, where there's some people who seem really excited in the first email, and I send them a follow-up email, and they never respond.
So I'm curious about this, because you said this, and I asked you this question. How many times of frequency do you play? And you said a couple times a month. Financially, that makes it hard, too. Only playing a couple times a month, because I used to play in a band in the 70s in Wildwood, New Jersey, and we played 6 nights a week. So we were making a living when I was in my 20s, and to make a living was easier because I didn't have a house. I had too many girlfriends, so that was expensive, right? Because I used to look a lot better then. But to make a living out of music playing twice a month is tough.
Yeah. Right now I'm at the point where I'm just trying to get my music out there. And I'd really just like people to listen to my music at this point. I'd love to be able to make money off of music and support myself someday. So I am trying to work towards that, but right now it's just all about, I just want to play as much as possible. I'd love for people to hear my music. Hopefully they connect to it and respond to it, and I'm able to play a lot more. But right now I'm just in it for the love of music.
65, I race the lights are pounding, colors and red, needle rises, threaded through concrete avenues, barricades I yearn to break. Darin like rain. At the finish line, just out of reach. Apathy kicks in. I close my eyes. I race lights on my thing. All hooves and lead, needle rises, threaded through concrete avenues. Barricades are young to break. Drops of iron like rain. At the finish line, I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop.
Okay, we're back talking to
Jake Durango stock
footage.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But I know in Phoenix, to get from one venue to another, it's not like a walk like it is here in New York. So you got to drive 20 miles or 15 miles to another venue. It's going to be a split audience. Some people are going to say, well, this venue is 2 miles from me. This one's 17 miles away, so I'm going to go to the one 2 miles away than the 17 miles away. So it'll split the audience.
Right.
However, there's 5 million people that live in Phoenix, so you would think, okay, splitting the audience, but if you can excite the audience, there's enough people there to fill up both places. So why is it so hard? I've never really understood that. That you can only play twice a month. Why?
It's just kind of the conventional wisdom, like you said, splitting the audience. You don't want to, if you become that band where you're just asking people to show up every week, people do get tired of it after a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you're like really popular but also playing small venues. If you get that, then you can get like a residency somewhere and you can play every week. There does seem to be a thing where when you're starting out, they say just play a lot to start getting your name out there so people start recognizing your name. But after a while, you try to be more strategic where you want to not drain your audience because wherever you're playing at, they're probably paying a cover, they're going to buy a few drinks, maybe get some food. So if you've only got like maybe 100 people that do that, they're not going to be able to come out every week. So instead of getting maybe 25 people a week, you try to just do it once a month and get everybody out there and get excited about the show.
Right. How can you stimulate the growth of that? 100, how can you extend it to 150? 200 via social media.
Social media is a big one, and that's kind of what I'm going through right now, is trying to figure out how to grow my audience. So it's definitely a learning process for me. Hopefully right now I'm working on getting the word out about my music and trying to do that myself.
I wonder if you can be tricky about it, like giveaways. Like radio stations have giveaways. I used to be on terrestrial radio, and then I gave it up because I wanted to do visual stuff. Today I've got all this equipment here to record the show. I could very easily bring a 10 CD recorder here,
right,
and do 10 CDs populated within a couple seconds. So when you're at a gig, you'll probably figure out which venue has the best sound, or if you know a sound guy who's very good at any of the venues. And when I'm in Phoenix, there was this one place called the Rhythm Room. I mean, the sound guy there. So he used to burn some of the sessions I did with the bands and give me a couple cuts from that band playing. And I always asked him, I said, well, catch the middle ones because the beginning's the warm up. Towards the end, grab the middle, because towards the end I need to be able to replicate the CD. So I don't want you capturing the last two because I'll get your work too late.
Sure.
So give me a couple in the middle. And that adds an excitement because the people that have seen you play will actually be able to have a free handout of 2 tracks of the music they actually heard, with potentially them screaming in the background with excitement. And they get in the car and they put it in there and they say, oh my God, that was me screaming to the... Would that be something feasible? Is that a creative, clever way? Can you do it?
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I think maybe even another idea is like do something where everybody loves to record concerts, or maybe do something where say, hey, record the songs, and whoever is the best one, whatever one got the best quality, we'll throw it up on our Facebook, our Instagram, whatever.
Did you just think of that now?
Yeah, I just thought of that now.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea. See, we got to create. That's why I try to, when I'm in Phoenix, I told everyone, let's have some unity. Did you just notice the rings just now?
Yeah.
I saw you just looking. Yeah, this is. I bought one, and then my wife said, "I'm sure you're going to have 8 in a couple weeks."
And sure enough.
And I've got 10 because I've got nipple rings too.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. For the gay audience, I have a cock ring too. So that's great. I want people to have unity, and through unity, we can have like a conversation like this, and that idea just popped into your head.
Yeah, absolutely. I love collaborating with other musicians, and I'm not like, I think the music scene is better when everybody's working together, and like, if one band's doing really well, I think that boosts the whole scene. I'm not into the whole thing where like bands are feuding or we're competing with each other. Like for me, art's not a competition. It's something where we all come together and try to create something.
Is it fun to do a radio show? Have you done radio before?
I've done, I think 2 other radio shows.
And they're all horrible compared to mine, obviously.
Oh yeah, this is the best one by far.
So now with the new guys that you have in the band, how are you guys currently writing? Are you the predominant writer?
I'm the predominant writer. Right now we're just working up some stuff that off the EP that I was talking about earlier, both the one Nerves and Lead, that's the one that came out already, and then I'm going to release a new one on March 30th called Anywhere But Here. And so we're working off tracks of both of those, and we're just trying to find our chemistry as a group, and then hopefully we'll start working on some new stuff. And hopefully, release those as well, and just keep making music.
In 10 years, will you put a goal on yourself to achieve some level of success within a certain time frame? At this point, if I'm not at this level, then I'm going to say it's just not meant for me. Would you ever do that?
I definitely had that thought. And like, I graduated college and I was 22, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna give this 5 years, and if not, I'm gonna go to grad school or law school or something. And that was like 7 years ago now. So I have had that thought that maybe one day I'll give up. It hasn't happened yet, but I feel like I keep getting a little better, a little closer to breaking through or finding my artistic voice. So maybe when I'm like 35, 40, somewhere in there, I'll be like, I don't think I'll ever just put my guitar away and stop playing forever, but maybe it'll be something where I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be my primary source of income, and I need to find that day job that I love and can support myself and maybe a family with.
Yeah. Well, it's really cool having you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So
Dave.
how do people engage with you to find out where you're playing and all that stuff?
So I'm on Facebook as Stock Footage. The URL, if you want to go there directly, is facebook.com/stockfootageband. I'm on Instagram as Stock Footage Band. Those are the 2 social medias that I mainly use. You can also follow me on Spotify, just as Stock Footage. That'll let you know when all my new music that's going to be coming out very soon will drop.
Thanks a lot for being on the show,
man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Curse this sand, the desert I have wandered for years, lifelong nomad, born out of necessity and fear, She brings water to my lips, to my voice. If I could hold her, I would never let go. promise of the shadow, the shadow set behind, legs aching, falter. I stumble, I stumble. I will see her again if I have to crawl through the mud and the rain for the rest of my days. I will see her again. I will see her again. Under a scarlet moon, I sleep alone. Dream of a heat that won't burn me so. Under a scarlet moon, I sleep alone. Dream of a heat that won't burn me so. She brings water to my lips, to my voice. If I could hold her, I would never